And what we found right here is a mulberry tree. It's a very tasty tree to find. And you can tell by it's a mulberry tree, well, it has alternate leaves and they're serrated. And mulberry trees, when they're young, when the leaf's young, it'll be lobed like this, and then when it gets older, it'll turn into this. And the berry, oh, the berry's good. Kind of looks like a little raspberry because it's a conglomerate berry, and you can eat that right up. What we found here is some mullein, and you can tell it's mullein because it has this little yellow flower that's starting up right here, and this whole thing will be yellow flowers. And mullein is super, super soft to the touch, the leaf. Just super soft. And mullein, I know what you do, I'm not quite sure what part though, is that you smoke it to get rid of a cough. And that's kind of weird because usually you smoke to cough, but that is mullein.
This flower is called a snapdragon. See how it's making the dragonish snap there? That's if you pick a bloom off of this stalk. This whole thing will flower here usually in late June. The leaves are spiky and it has a faint floral smell to it. And that's a snapdragon.
And here on the side of the canal, we found some dolomite crystals. And dolomite crystals, I think they always look pretty freaking sweet. And you can find rocks that are just pure dolomite crystals and they look even better. Super fun to look for on the side of the canal. You can always find a few of them. Because where there's one, there's usually another of everything. Those are dolomite crystals.
This is hemlock. How you can tell it's hemlock and not Queen Anne's lace, which is a similar looking flower, is there's no purple dot or blue dot in the center. And these flowers are all kind of more individual. Queen Anne's lace is one giant flower and has larger leaves. And also the major difference, the reason you want to know the difference between these two flowers is hemlock is toxic when ingested. So this is in the poisonous do not eat club.
I found an apple tree. And a cherry tree right next to the apple tree. And what I've kind of observed lately is the smaller the smaller the cherry tree is kind of the bigger the cherry. I don't know, mostly because the bigger ones are probably dying, but if you see little cherry trees, oh, fruit's usually pretty bigger. Cherry trees. I spotted a wild kitty. Seems to be a striped wild kitty. Walking through the cornfield. One of the canal's most deadliest predators. Canal kitty.
Alright, I climbed down here into this field of flowers for you viewers. We have snapdragons, there are some daisies behind me, some fleabane, also St. John's wort, which is the reason I came down the banks. In Germany, they use it to cure depression. It's a favorite over there. It's used in vitamins, and how you can tell for sure what this plant is if you just rub it between your two fingers like that, it looks like it bleeds and it'll make a stain. So you can eat that for happiness. St. John's wort. This here is bird's foot, and it's a type of vetch. The reason they call it bird's foot is some people say it's shaped like bird. And apparently if you get this stuck growing in your garden, it's very, very hard to get out. It spreads like wildflowers tend to do. I found Queen Anne's lace. This is part of the carrot family, and a lot of people think this is a bug, but if you zoom in, it's just a little blue flower, and that's in the center of all Queen Anne's lace. These are the little ones there, and the leaves are just small and kind of look like carrot leaves. So, Queen Anne's lace.
What we got right here is a whole bunch of plantain plants, and you can tell how they're plantains because they have this little seed stalk coming up from them. And most of the time people are calling them weeds and everything, but they're a pretty good spinach substitute, and you can put them in salads and everything, and you can just eat it just like that, and that's plantains. And what we found here on the side of the canal is some white sumac and some staghorn sumac. Now staghorn sumac, you can actually just take that little red bud off right there and stick it in some cold water for a few hours, and that'll make a good drink. But that is pretty poisonous, and they usually are growing right next to each other. And those are the sumacs. What we found here is a dock plant. And they used to call it butter dock because these leaves here, they actually used to wrap butter in these leaves back in the day. You can definitely tell it's a dock plant because of all the seeds up here. And the stem, pretty purple, that means it's pretty old. And these leaves are edible, they're a bit bitter. And the root's pretty good for a tea, and that heals some good stuff too, like boils, it's supposedly. And that is the dock plant.